Welcome. At this session of DataBreak, we're going to talk about jobs. Well, why do we care about jobs? Because jobs are the demand for commercial real estate. So understanding jobs allows us to see the market very consistently and accurately. So the first Friday of every month, the Bureau of Labor Statistics releases job changes month over month. So last Friday, they released the July employment update. And it was 114,000 monthly increased jobs, June to July. What we really want to look at is the table B1 from the press release, and then we're going to talk about how to disaggregate and look at it a little differently. You notice there the far right column, 114,000. That's the month over month change. But I think there's a better way to look at this, and that's what we're going to show you. This is forgive me for the Excel focus, but it's a spreadsheet which takes the data and looks at it with a few additional calculations. So the monthly increase is 114,000, but it's important to note that the year over year, the annual increase is 2,512,000. That's an average of 209,300 a month. Another reason why I like focusing on the annual is that this press release for July pointed out that the May and June job increases were adjusted downward by 29,000. So I think it's better to focus on annual changes instead of month over month, although we do need to be conscious of what happens month over month, and several months of below average growth is important to note. Well, let's see what are the high spots here. 39.2% of the annual job changes were attributable to healthcare. That's almost a million jobs, 985,000. And that's 14.2% of total jobs, but again, it's almost 40% of the annual job increase. So what does it mean for our business? It means there's going to be increased demand for medical use real estate. Another one to look at is government. This is the second fastest growing sector. Government's 14.7% of total jobs. Well, they grew by 546,000 year over year. That's 21.7% of the annual increase. And much of that was local government. Interestingly enough, local government, which is about 9.4% of total jobs, grew by 326,000 jobs. That's 13% of the annual increase. Some other annual growth to note: construction. Construction is 5.2% of total jobs, and it grew by 239,000 over the year. That's a 9.5%, almost 10% of the annual increase. It's important to note also specialty trade contractors. They grew by 136,700. Well, what does that mean? Construction companies, and specifically specialty trade contractors, they need flex industrial space. So we see that market remaining strong and growing. Professional, scientific, and technical services, that's 7% of jobs. It grew by 185,900 over the year. That's 7.4% of the annual increase. Well, that's positive. However, that was offset by a decrease, a loss of 82,300 jobs in administration and support. Those are core office jobs. What does it tell us? It indicates continued weakness in general office demand. Let's take a look at food services. That's a NAICS code 722, restaurants. 7.8% of total jobs, and it grew by 152,700. It represents 6% of the total growth. That's an indication that the sector is slightly slowing. It's fully recovered from the pandemic. We don't expect the same kind of growth that we've had over the last several years. Wholesale trade grew by 57,100 jobs. That's a 0.9% increase. Retail trade grew by 76,900 jobs. That's a 0.5%. Well, what does that mean? It means there's continued weakness in general retail demand. We expect more retail space to be occupied by non-retail businesses, such as healthcare and other services. Finally, let's look at warehousing. Warehousing lost 9,100 jobs year over year. That's an annual decrease of 0.5%. That means there's a slowdown in distribution center warehouse demand, especially for Class B space. We take this information and we use it for our real estate services analysis to give you better service. Thank you.